Hey guys, welcome back everyone and welcome to the PM Networking. So we are planning to launch the SD-WAN classes and this classes will be start from the January. So first of all, we need to understand the requirement of the SD-WAN. So, I have two requirements. The first requirement I have according to the exam perspective and the second requirement I have according to the market perspective. So the first we'll talk about the exam perspective, right? You know, most of the people, right, do the ccna first, right, and after that they go with the ccnp training. And normally in the ccnp training they finish the ccnp encode exam. After the training, right, they go with the encode paper. And after the finishing the encode, they got confused, right, what should I do now? So you have a multiple papers, right? You have a advanced routing and services, right? Then after that, you have a SD-WAN solutions. These are the concentration paper we have. Then after that, we have a designing. Then after that, we have a wireless paper, right? Wireless, we have a two papers, right? And then after that, we have a automations. So basically, we have a 6 concentration exam. Each exam has a different code. You can get the code exams on the website of the Cisco as well. So I'm not interested to write over the exams code right now because that's not a concern. Okay. So after the finishing the encode paper, right, either you can go with the advanced routing and services, right? Because in this paper, you can get the information about the routing and at the same time switching. So you will get to know that the detailed information of the routing protocols and the switching protocols, like what are the VLANs, spanning tree, HSRP, VRP, EIGRP, BGP, OSPF protocols. Like some of the virtualization part still will be there, right? Or either you can go with the SD-WAN solution. So my suggestion to the people, right, who did the CNP encode paper, like encode itself contains the all the routing protocol information, right? Even the some switching part as well. So if you finish the encode paper, go with the SD-WAN. Because if you do this paper, right, eventually you will get the CCNP certification. At the same time, right? At the same time, the beauty of this paper is what? The market has a lots of requirement of the SD-WAN, not the advanced routing and services. So if you go to the interview, right, nobody will ask you, hey, have you done with the advanced routing and services? They will ask you, hey, have you done the SD-WAN solution? Do you have a certification of this one? Do you have a knowledge of this one? Because you already know all the routing protocols and switching protocols in this encode. So better to go the SD-WAN solution instead of going the advanced routing. So this is the exam perspective, which one should I pick? Or you can go with the design as well. So I'm not going to recommend it you. If you are a fresher, don't go with the design, not in the wireless. Yeah, you can go with the automation too, right? But after finishing the SD-WAN session. So if you're planning for the automation, right? So once you have done with the SD-WAN training or the examination, then you can go with the jump to the automation. There's a reason behind it. We'll talk about this thing in the next video, but my focus is the SD-WAN right now. So this is the exam perspective. Why should I go with the SD-WAN, not the advanced routing and services? And why should I not gonna pick any of the design and wireless? Next requirement, we have the market. What is the market requirement? See, if I talk about in the 90s time, right? In the 90s time, what happened? For example, there's a one organization, right? So this organization are take example in India, right? And this guy has some folks over there, right? They wants to communicate with the, different branch. So maybe we have another branch in the USA and we have another PCs over there, right? And some servers are still present. And these guys are connected to the switch and this switch is connected to the router also in, right? And after that, what happened? You have if you want to connect this guy India to the USA, you need to take a help of the multiple ISP. So I'm not going to draw the multiple ISP, just assume that we have a single ISP we have right now, right? And you can provide the connectivity between the India to the USA. Okay, that's amazing. So all your public IPs are reachable. So you can reach to the India to the USA. But according to the 1918 RFC, right, you have two types of address. One is called as a private address and public address, right? So the public address is routable, right? You can go through the internet, right? But the private address is not routable. So if you want to provide the communication between the private address to private address, what you have to do that? Either you can take a private connection, that will be very costly, right? So in 90s time, what happened? They introduced the concept, it's called as the overlay technology, right? So that overlay technology is known as a GRE. So GRE is the foundation of the VPN, we can call it. And GRE is the first overlay protocol, right? So we can provide the connectivity between the India to the USA with the help of tunnel. And through this tunnel, we can exchange the private IP addresses. And based on that, we can provide the connectivity between the India to the USA. And this is amazing. But the problem occurs, right? What happens if you have a multiple site? So take example, we have introduced the new site over there in Dubai, right? In Dubai, we have some PCs and some servers that is connected with the switch and then routers, right? And then we have another branch in maybe London. In London also, I have some PCs, right? Some servers, they are connected with the switch. Then we have routers. So we'll take a connectivity from the ISPs, right? Like this way. So in that case, what happened? Again, these guys also have a private addresses. This guys also have a private addresses. So think about it. If I'm going to make the connectivity like this, what happened? I have to create a multiple GRE tunnels, right? I have to create the multiple GRE tunnels like a full mesh. So to avoid this problem, right, what happened? We introduced the concept is called as a DMVPN. DMVPN allow you the multi-point connectivity. So with the help of single tunnel, right, instead of creating the multiple tunnel, with the help of single tunnel, we can provide the connectivity between all the sites. So this is my tunnel. So with the help of this tunnel, the India can communicate with the USA, Dubai, and London. And DMVPN was awesome. And till now in the market, we are still using the DMVPN. It's not like we are not using the GRE. We are still using the GRE. If you have a requirement, go with the GRE. If you have a 2-side, go with the GRE. 3-side, go with the GRE. But if you have multiple side, go with the DMVPN. But again, someone said that necessity is the mother of invention, right? So market has now the different trend. The trend is what? There are some different keywords right now in the market is going on. The artificial intelligence, the machine learning, the cloud services, the virtualization, right? The IoT, Internet of Things, right? These are the keywords that we have in the market. And we need to, we need to integrate this keyword, this technology with the networking. So if you're going to integrate this higher technologies, right, with the networking, we need to bring something new because this technology already have a lot of load. And my traditional networking, whatever the traditional networking we have, right, the underlay traditional networking like a OSPF, EIGRP, BGP protocol, the DMVPN, all this traditional networking is not capable to handle these loads over there. If I talk about the automation part, right, you can do the automation in the traditional networking, but that is not pure automations. So that's why, right, to integrate all this new technology, whatever the new technologies are coming, right, whatever the new features are coming in the networking, we need to integrate this new features to something new. And that's how we came with the solutions called as SD-WAN. SD-WAN is the part of the SDN solution. So this keyword, again, it's not a new keyword. This keyword was in 2010. And finally, in the 2017, right, the Cisco has launched the WebTel SD-WAN solution, right? And after launching that WebTel SD-WAN solution, and this was a craze in the market, right? Every company was implementing, right, the SD-WAN right now in the core network, not in the core, in the enterprise network. So if you have a SD-WAN knowledge, if you have a SD-WAN certification, you can give your salary hike easily, 30 to 40%. I'm not saying that like, you will get the 50% and 100% hike. Definitely you will get the 100% and 50% hike, but you need to go with the different technology as well. But yeah, this is a add-on. SD-WAN right now is play the very important role in your enterprise network. So most of the people also are thinking right now, what happened? What about the traditional networking? Are we done with the EIGRP OSPF, BGP? No, dude, you are not done. SD-WAN gives you the overlay technology, right? Whereas your traditional networking is the underlay networking. So whatever the OSPF, EIGRP protocol, BGP protocols, right, spanning tree VLANs are still there. So you cannot compare between the traditional networking and the SD-WAN solution. Both are the different things. You are creating the SD-WAN over the underlay technology. You are creating the SD-WAN over the underlay. For example, this is my one box, right? Understand this concept. So this is my underlay technology, like a OSPF, EIGRP, and the VLANs. Over this box, we are creating a new virtual network. And this virtual network is called as a SD-WAN. So your underlay must be present. If you don't have an underlay, for example, if I'm going to remove this underlay, what happened? You cannot achieve the SD-WAN solution. You cannot achieve the SD-WAN solution. So underlay is a mandatory part. So that's why I told you, I gave the two reasons why should you learn the SD-WAN. One of the exam perspective and second is the market perspective. That's why I told you that go with the SD-WAN solution instead of going for the advanced routing and services after the encode. And second reason is the market. Market has requirements. If you want to take example, if you have your own company and you want to provide the connectivity between the different sites, either you can go with the DMPPN or either you can go with the SD-WAN. If I go with the SD-WAN, what I will get that? I will get the complete software-defined networking. I have a centralized location where I can put my all the devices. So whatever the SD-WAN devices, they will be put in the centralized location, maybe in the maybe in the Delhi or maybe in the United States, maybe in the Sri Lanka. I can put all the SD-WAN component in the Sri Lanka. And from there, I can manage this India, I can manage this Dubai, I can manage this USA, I can manage this London. So this centralized, you will get in the SD-WAN. You will not get in the DMPPN. In a DMPPN, still you are doing the hop by hop configuration. You need to go each and every router. You have to go in the India router, need to configure. You have to go in the USA router, need to configure it. That's called a hop by hop. You need to go each location and configure the router. But in the case of SD-WAN, what happened? You are sitting on the Sri Lanka, and based on the Sri Lanka, you can configure all the boxes. That's the beauty you have. That's called a centralized location, centralized configuration, centralized monitoring you have, centralized troubleshooting you have. All you are doing the centralized. And that is the need of SD-WAN right now in the market. So if you're deploying the SD-WAN in your network, you are reducing the costs. You're reducing the troubleshoot. So many people also say that, hey, what happened? So SD-WAN will remove the jobs. No, it's not going to remove the job. Whenever the new technology comes in the picture, always they are creating the job. People say that when the computer came in the market in the 90s time and during the 2000, right? And say that, oh no, computer came in the market, all the jobs will be removed now. Computer create the jobs. Same thing, SD-WAN will create the jobs. It's not going to remove the job. Don't worry, you will get to know that all this detailed information in the training. So let's talk about what we are going to learn, what PM networking is going to provide you in the SD-WAN solution. So the first of all is called a Cisco SD-WAN solution. So previously it was a Webtailor SD-WAN, because the Webtailor was the company, they introduced the SD-WAN. Later on, what happened in 2017, the Cisco acquired the Viptela, and now it's called as a Cisco SD-WAN solution. But again, most of the terminology, when you do the configuration, you will see starting with a V. V means Viptela. Same like in a spanning tree protocol, what happened? Spanning tree protocol was for the bridge, right? After the hub, we introduced the bridge, and after the bridge, we introduced the switches. So in a spanning tree, what happened? Most of the terminology is from the bridge, right? It's like a bridge ID, root bridge. So same thing in the Cisco SD-WAN solution, what happened? Some terminology will start with a V, like a VH, V smart, V bond. Sorry. So again, this is the exam description. What is the exams like? What is the duration of this exam? How many questions you will have in this examinations? So don't worry, I will make a one separate video for this one, but just for the short introduction, this exam is a 90 minutes, right? And you need to pass this exam to get this SD-WAN certifications. What this exam will contain. So first of all, in this exam, we are going to discuss about the architecture, right? So what this training going to contains. So this training will start from the architecture, right? That's going to contain the 20%. So in this architecture, we are going to discuss about how you can put the components, right? So whatever the devices you have, for example, you have vManage. This is the one of the device. So assume like this way. So vManage is one guy, right? That's gonna manage the complete network. That's the meaning of management. That has a management plane. Then after that, we have an orchestration plane that's called a vBond. Another guy, right? That's gonna provide the authentication. So whenever the new person comes in the picture, I need to authenticate that guy. Is it a genuine or not? That comes in the vBond. The vBond also provide the facility of the NAT traversal. So if you have implementing the NAT, your requirement have a vBond. This is a very important role play. This guy is behave like a gatekeeper. So it must be there in your network. Same like when you go to any society, you have a gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper will verify you. Okay, are you a genuine person or not? Same thing, the vBond will verify you. Are you the genuine person or not? Whenever you are entering in the SD-WAN network, you first need to communicate with the vBond. Then after that, we have a separate device that's called as a vSmart, right? That's only going to handle with the control plane, right? And then after that, we have finally another guy that's called as a vEdge. That's going to deal with the data plane. So this guy only going to deal with the management plane, orchestration plane, control plane, and data plane. And these are the different boxes, standalone boxes. And these are the virtual boxes, not the physical one. Then after that, you can, if you want to provide the security, right, and the SD-WAN solution, like data security, then you can go with the IPsec, right? If you don't want to make an encryption of the data, you can go with the GRE. Whatever the routes that you're exchanging, you are going to exchange the route with the help of the OMP protocol, overlay management protocol, right? The V route we have. You can implement the VFD session, right? That's a by default enable in the SD-WAN solution. That's gonna fast detection. So instead of waiting for the hello time and hold on time, I can detect in the millisecond. So normally your hello time of the OSPF EIGRP, right? So they are detecting the neighborship detection. They are doing in the second, right? In the 5 second or 10 second, depending on the routing protocol. But the VFD is detecting in the millisecond. Just for your knowledge, in a 1 second, you have a 1000 millisecond. So can you imagine that how faster this VFD is? In a 1 second, we have a 1000 millisecond. Once we have done with the description of the SD-WAN, right? Then we are going to deal with the deployment, how you can deploy your controller. The controller, the meaning of the controller means what? You're talking about the vSmart, the vManage. These are my controllers, the vBond, right? How you can deploy the controller. So, you can deploy the controller on the GCP, the Google Cloud, right? You can deploy the controller on the AWS. If you want to deploy the controller on the EXSI, you can also deploy on the hypervisor if you want. So in this 15% module, right, you're going to understand how we are going to implement or how we are going to install this virtual boxes on the platform, on the GCP or the AWS, on the hypervisor as well. That's why I told you, these are all the virtual images we have. It's a very simple method. It's not a hard, only the name is hard, SD-WAN. But apart from this thing, right, everything is easy. You just need to, like, understand the technology, watch the video 1 and 2 times, whenever the trainer will give you the training about this one. Watch the video 1 and 2 times, and definitely you will understand all this technology. Then after that, we have a router deployment. Router deployment is what you are talking about, like, how we can deploy the VHS router we have. So apart from the vManage, whatever the vManage, vSmart, and V1 we have, right? These are my controller, but what happened? These are my centralized location. This sits on somewhere else, maybe in the Sri Lanka. So another branch we have in India, right? Another branch we have in the USA. Another branch we have in the Dubai. Another branch you have in the UK. On this router, you're going to deploy what? You're going to deploy the WAN edge router, the normal VH router. So all this VH router is going to communicate with the controller like this way. And once they can communicate with the controller, after that, what happened? If you want to provide the communication between the UK to Dubai, you can provide the communication between all the sites. Later on, what happened? If you want to implement the protocol inside the network, you can implement the FHRP OSPF protocol if you want, depend on the requirement, whatever the company requirement you have. Then, of course, the policy is the most important chapter, right? I'm not going to go through the each and every lines detail, like, what is the meaning of right now, the T-locks and CLI manage features and configuration template. Otherwise, this video will be very long. Okay, I'm just making a keep short. I'm just explaining you, like, the basic information about the SD-WAN. Definitely, once you go in the training, you will get to know that each and everything, right? Because each line have almost 1 hour of the session, right? So definitely you will go through the details information in the training videos, not this one. Then after that, the policy, the 4.0, that's a 20% marks. Again, important one, right? The policy, if I talk about the traditional networking, what policy we have? ACL, route map, prefix list. If you are from the service provider background, you have RPL, you have prefix it, right? ACL again, prefix list again. So policy means what? The meaning of policy means what? I want to change the path. For example, this is a router 1. Take example, router 2 and router 3, right? So normally this is the service provider we have, right? And you want to say that, hey, one thing, normally the primary path is this one, right? And this is the secondary path. That's a default behavior, but I want to change it. I want to say that, hey, one thing, I'm going to make this guy the primary. So I'm going to say that this guy should be the primary now, and this guy should be secondary. So this thing, you can change it based on the policy. Policy means what? Whatever the default behavior you have, you can change it based on your requirement. And SD-WAN has an amazing policy. SD-WAN has an amazing policy. You have a control policy, you have a data policy, you have an end-to-end segmentation with the help of VPN, which is possible in the traditional networking, but it's very hard to deploy it. But SD-WAN allow you end-to-end segmentation. For example, I say that, hey, one thing, this is the India branch, and in India, then there's a USA branch, and in the India, we have a sales department. That's a 1.0.0.0, and there's 2.0.0, it's a management department, right? And the USA, we have a EN sales department. That's a 3.0.0.0, and management department, we have 4.0.0. I want to make a segmentation. What segmentation I want to make it? I say that, hey, that's a meaning of end-to-end. I want to say that, hey, this sales only can communicate with this sales. This management only can communicate with the management. So you do have an ability after deploying the SD-WAN, right? After deploying the SD-WAN controllers and everything, you have a reachability. Once you have done with the all configuration, if you want, you can achieve this kind of policy as well. So in that case, sales cannot communicate with the management, and this sales cannot communicate with the management. So sales only can communicate with the sales team. You do have ability, you can achieve the end-to-end segmentation. Amazing feature like application-aware routing and direct internet access, right? This the DIA, that short name is called the DIA. This helps you to remove the latency. So normally in the older days, what happened? The direct internet access was there, but not all the company was uses because of the security perspective. But with the help of SD-WAN, you can achieve the direct internet access. The short term is called the DIA. Then we have a fifth one is called as security and quality services. The name itself is saying that quality means what? You do have ability. If you want, you can deploy the quality of services in your SD-WAN network. Meaning, for example, if your router is receiving a voice traffic, a voice packet, at the same time, they are receiving a data packet, right? If the router is receiving a voice packet and at the same time data packet, which packet that router will allow? Of course, right? Voice is my UDP-based traffic. Data is my TCP-based traffic. This data can be retransmit, but voice cannot retransmit. The data can retransmit, but voice cannot retransmit. So first I will allow the voice packet, then I will allow the data packet. So the first packet will be voice and second packet will be data. So this thing you can achieve in the SD-WAN too. So you do have ability, you can deploy the quality of service in the SD-WAN solution. They allow you. You can configure the quality of service from the controller side. After that, you do have some firewall features as well, like a URL filtering, you can do that. You have a proxy, you can do that. Some small, like basic firewall features you have in the SD-WAN components, which is normally it was there in the traditional routing as well, but on that time you need to do some additional configuration, like a zone-based firewall. You have to do that, like you have to prevent the filtering from this guy should not communicate with that guy, right? You have to do the lots of ACL, lots of prefix list, lots of like a zone-based firewall. But in that case, you have a filtering is given by the Cisco SD-WAN solution. Right, these are the queuing mechanism, right? Of course, that's again a tough topic of the quality of service, but it definitely you will get to know that in the training. And then we have a 10% 6.0, that's the management and operation. Most of the people, right, in the company network, they are putting the money on the management part, the knock part, right? What locks are coming. And trust me, this is the backbone of any company. Because without this one, without the operation and management, you cannot reach to the particular, exact solution. Because if something is happening in your network, if something is happening on the router side, they will send the syslog or SNMP traps to the server. And based on that trap or based on that syslog, the next shift engineer can do the troubleshooting. Because it's not possible that you can always sit in front of the router. Maybe you can go with a coffee break, right? And maybe have some meeting. On that time, if something is happening on the router, how you will get to know that? So that's why the management operation comes in the picture now. And that's why we have amazing protocols like a syslog and SNMP. Same thing, SD-WAN allow you, as I told you, that we have a separate device that's called as a vManage, right? From the vManage, you do have ability, you can monitoring and report all the information. So still you are in the Sri Lanka. Remember, I told you that you are in the Sri Lanka, and in the Sri Lanka, you have all the controllers like a vManage, vBond, and vSmart, right? All my devices we have vManage, we have vBond, we have vSmart, we have. And whatever the things is happening in the India location, whatever things is happening in the Dubai location, whatever things is happening in the USA location, whatever things is happening in the UK location, all information, if anything is happening on this router, you will get to know that based on this monitoring. Even if you want to upgrade the image, that's a part of the management, right? If you want to upgrade the image, for example, I want to upgrade the image. So in a single shot from here itself, you don't need to go on the each and every box. You just from here, you can upgrade the image of all the routers. And that's a feature of the SD-WAN you have. That's all about the SD-WAN syllabus, guys. If you have any question, you can put the comments. And I'll catch you very soon, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching the video.